Hello, Aussie Dollarman here, and welcome to the Forex Form Guide, where we take a look at the major currency pairs through the lens of WD Gann analysis. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'd encourage you to subscribe, and also I've put together a playlist of videos that I think you will find helpful on your WD Gann and trading journey. And if you find value in the video and you can spare 5 seconds, I'd love it if you click on the like button and also leave a comment. Could be a question, a comment, a query, or just saying hi. Obviously, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, and if YouTube sees more people interacting with the video, it will promote the video to other people. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Aussie dollar US dollar, the pound US dollar, the euro US dollar, and of course, the US dollar Japanese yen. Before we do that though, a quick disclaimer, this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial investment or trading advice. Bottom line there, do your own research. This is not financial advice. Trade responsibly. So we'll kick it off with the Australian dollar US dollar. If you haven't seen it yet, I did put out a forecast at the end of last month of dates to watch for May. We just had our 7 May high come in right on schedule, which was nice. And if you're looking for a point of reference in Gann's original material for the work that we're about to do, I like to set up my charts similar to this as Gann did on page 46 of his book, The Wall Street Stock Selector, lining up the different timeframes of the same market side by side. So here we are, the Australian dollar. We've got the monthly chart at the top and then the weekly on the right, daily down here and 4-hour chart below here. On the monthly chart, we did have a failed run down in April and a strong rally, taking out a bunch of tops there. We've pushed up a little bit this month, just come back below that 62.5% retracement there. A little bit of a sideways week there, ending slightly lower. As you can see over here, there was the close of last week, and then this week has closed just slightly lower at 64.08. As you can see, we've made a very large swing up from the April low. It's all one weekly swing. We haven't even had a pullback or a down bar on the weekly chart. At some point, that is likely to happen. There's a good chance that it does happen here. I think we'll go a little bit higher, but there's a little bit going for this top, which we're going to talk about. I've been watching the middle of May, which you will see in the Aussie dollar forecast dates that I did put out in that video that I just mentioned. And in terms of prices, around 65.5 cents is an area that I have been watching for a little while as well. As you can see from our top on Wednesday the 7th, we had an outside reversal bar there and then a couple more days down to finish the week. This is what it looks like on the 4-hour chart. We've had a run down, little pullback, and then a repeat of that range there. And it is just starting to struggle up a little bit there. Now, the next date that I'm watching is the 13th of May, as I said, so we're pretty close to that coming into the start of the week ahead. I'm going to show you in a moment some support happening around here. There is a bit going on at this level, and what that says to me is this is a really key point. If we hold this point, I'd say we're going up to at least 65.5, and keep in mind, this is just a weekly swing here. I think at some point it must pull back. After that, I still think that we're going higher. I think that this low is fairly strong. It could well be the yearly low. We have had a good run up. And as I discussed in last week's video, I showed a 1/8 angle that we had broken above. And I think that that means that we'll be taking out our September top, which is this one up here. Now, if it does that, that's a long way up. We're at 64 cents now. That'll be up around 69 cents. I think we're going to at least 71 cents. That's my next intermediate target there. But that's getting a few steps ahead. So we'll pause there for now. Let's move on to this chart here. I just want to discuss with you the top on Wednesday at 65.14. I was able to short this market at 65.10, so within 4 ticks there. I had 65.08 and 65.14 as a couple of prices to watch there for a daily top. Keep in mind, I think it's going a little bit higher, or I thought it was going a little bit higher, so I wasn't expecting that to be a final top there, but I was expecting a turning point on that date, as I said in my forecast video, and the price just sat there really, really nicely. Now, if you're a student of WD Gann's and you've done some work on his books where he talks about percentages of highs, lows, and ranges to watch, you would have found that fairly straightforward to call. And in fact, if you're a student of safety in the market, as I once was, you would have found that even easier as well. Now, we actually had a couple of reasons for a top to come in there. So I was able to get short and have a stop only 10 points above where I got in, which means that once the market falls 100 points, I'm up 10 to 1 on the trade already in just the space of a day or two. Now, after this run down here, you knew at some point it's going to pull back a little bit. I was expecting more downside though until at least Monday of next week. The 13th is the day I'm watching. We'll allow a couple of days either side, but in this case, 13th is the Tuesday, so 2 or 3 days before was the weekend. So I would expect that turn, if it is going to come in early, to come in on the Monday. So through this point, I don't mind holding on there. As we came down there though, you've got a nice cluster point at 63.70, which was the low there. And again, that's an area where Maybe you don't see it in advance, but you should be able, once the market bottoms and has a strong rally there, you should be able to look at that and say, oh, gee, why did it bottom there? And then find the answer pretty quickly. There's at least 4 reasons. One of them is the trend line from the last daily swings there, from the low up to the next low, and then we ran over there. But there's a few price reasons in there as well, as I said, based on the ranges work in percentages of ranges. Now, this will be really interesting to see. As I said, I was looking for a low around the 13th, which is coming up early next week, and then a rally up to around that 65.50 level. Okay, if we break through this low here and keep going down, I'd say this is going to be our top for now, and the mid-May top that I'm looking at will end up being a first lower top on the daily chart, and that's okay. I don't mind that at all. Often those first lower tops are easier to call than the extreme top, although in this case I nailed that top up there, which was nice. I got a nice short trade away from there, but that's the scenario that I'm looking at. Now, if you look at these numbers and think, how on earth do you come up with these numbers as price forecasts? A couple of reference points for you if you're new to the channel in terms of form reading the market and price forecasting the market. The best lessons that I know of are in Gann's book, How to Make Profits in Commodities, and in Safety in the Markets Active Trader Program online training. And you can access those through the links here. These are not affiliate links. I don't get anything for recommending them. But as someone who has been around for a while and has profited a lot from both of these, I feel like it's the right thing to do to mention them to you. There's a lot of stuff out there in the Gann field. If you want good bang for your buck, these are 2 great places to start. Firstly, if you're new, but particularly wherever you're at on your journey, if you're not able to quickly and easily come up with numbers like this, that's a great place for you to start. So looking at the Aussie dollar, to give you a little bit of a clue, if you do want to play around with the highs, lows, and ranges, you can determine those numbers. You don't have to go any further back than this low here. You just study after that point, and you should be able to come up with those 2 numbers up the top here and down the bottom here. So I'll leave that for you to do a bit of work on. Now, let's say this is the top. I'm not saying that it's the top, but if we do go lower this week, well, I would say that is the top for now. That's our monthly top. And my next intermediate date will be the middle of June. So running down for about a month. Now, we've run up for a month. You know, markets don't always run the same amount up, the same amount down. But the next date that I'm watching is around the middle of June. Maybe a fraction earlier than that, but around the middle of June. So it'd be a few weeks down. So there would potentially be opportunities for a short trade depending on what the market gives us. Let's move on to the British pound US dollar now. You can see same setup, monthly, weekly, daily, and 4-hour charts. Over here on the weekly chart, you can see we've basically closed just slightly higher than the last week, but it's the same close that we've seen for 4 weeks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you are brand new to technical analysis, this is called a bar chart. By the way, you've got an open, a low, a high, and a close. So the bottom of this bar here, that's the lowest price the market traded during this time period. So this is a monthly chart. Each bar represents 1 month, March, April, May. Over here is a weekly chart. So each of these bars represents 1 week, but you've got the low of the week, the time period, the high of the week, little dash on the left is the open, little dash on the right is the close. Some people prefer a candlestick chart. I've grown up as a trader. Wasn't trading as a kid, but I feel like I've grown up as a trader, and a lot of my maturing as an adult has come by trading the financial markets. But I've grown up with bar charts like this. I like them. Sometimes I think candlestick charts give us a little bit too much noise. At the end of the day, both charts are drawn from the exact same data, and open, high, low, and close. You just have to get used to reading it. Whichever way works for you is fine. But looking at the pound, we're having a little bit of a pullback from this weekly run up here. Not much of a pullback yet. There's the daily chart. So this daily swing, or these couple of daily swings here, that's this weekly swing over here. So I'm picturing that we're into our second leg down, not much going on there. And on the 4-hour chart, this is our second leg that we're working on here. You can see there on the daily swing there. And yeah, it's struggling to go down as well. A pretty sideways period. It would not surprise me. In fact, I'm expecting this pullback to fail in this week ahead and to push higher. This is a chart that I showed last week. These are little double tops. We do have double tops on the monthly chart at the moment. I didn't point those out earlier. I spoke a fair bit about those last week in the Forex Form guide. By the way, depending on my mood each week, I do drop some secrets across the different Forex Form guide versions. And I do talk about forecasts as well. I'm not perfect, but using Gann's techniques, I have had a lot of hits on the channel there. But I did talk about this last week. And these double tops, they are coming up against an important 50% milestone here on the ranges card. This is a monthly chart. That's a really, really long-term range that most people wouldn't be looking at. I expect that the pound will break above there. However, until it does, that does loom as a little bit of a warning there. If we do start to tumble away there, we could be heading down to new lows there. We have had double bottoms there, the 2022 low and the 1985 low. That's a nice little double bottom trade. However, if this run up fails here and we start heading down, well, 95 cents would be the next target there for the British pound. Okay, moving on to the euro US dollar now. Similarly to the pound, a fairly flat week. It has closed a bit lower than last week. Still looks like it is in a bit of a pullback there. This big, strong run up, including this massive up bar in April, has broken through a number of key tops. And this is on the monthly chart. When you break tops in the market, you can usually expect a decent run. And this is breaking tops on the monthly chart. So as long as it holds above here, the euro may still have a fair way to go. As I said, I'm fairly bullish on these markets now, the Aussie, the pound, and the euro. Here on the euro, this week, yes, it did pull back a little bit. It has still closed above those old tops as well. So it is still looking strong there. Here again, you can see we had a first run down, first lower top over here. And then this next run down, you've had a little weak run down, pullback, and a little bit of a weak run down and a pullback there. It doesn't look like it's going down with any sort of strength there. It has been going down for a little while there. Generally speaking, when that happens, it will find a balance point. Maybe there's 50% here on the weekly chart, and then it will turn around and continue that run to the upside there. At least that's my expectation. And as I said, as a trader, I can be wrong. I don't get it right all the time. And this is not an excuse, but WD Gann didn't get it right all the time either. At his best, at his peak, he was trading around the 90%, 92% level, which still means 1 in every 10 he was wrong. Better than me, but you don't expect as a trader to be right all the time. You always just build a scenario and say the market could go here, and then you work out, well, I've got a 500-point move, and I can get in with 20 points risk. That's a 25 to 1 reward to risk ratio. Great, the odds are in my favor. Or you might say, there's only going to be a 200-point move, and I'd be risking 200 points. This is not worth my time and money. So you let it go and you move on to the next trade. And over a period of time as a trader, as long as, you probably heard this before, let your profits run, let them be large, and cut your losses short so that they are small, you will be successful over time as a trader. Now, that's not a guarantee. See the disclaimer at the beginning, but that's the main theory in trading that you need to pay attention to. Keep your risk small, keep your profits as large as you can, and work hard to build your skills and experience so that you're increasing your percentage of correct trades. So looking at the euro in this second run down here, you can see a run down, pullback, and again, a bit like the pound, it's running down, but it's not really going anywhere there, which to me suggests that this is a pullback into a higher bottom, as you can see here on the weekly chart. See all this noise on the daily chart? You've got all these bars here. You can jump up a time frame to the weekly, and it's so much clearer there. But that, to me, all this sideways mucking around, my view is that we are in a pullback there, and we're just waiting to find a price point to sit on and then turn around and have some more upside there. And that's backed up by the monthly chart where we're sitting above all of those tops. Let's take a look at the US dollar yen now. We've spoken a fair bit about this. I won't spend too long on this. We had the potential triple bottoms there. With triple bottoms, I find the third bottom, and same with double bottom being the second bottom. If it's just a double bottom, I like to see it exceed the previous bottom. We haven't done that yet on the yen. This looks like it's gotten down there. It's close. It's having a little bit of a pullback, but will eventually turn around and go back through there, down that bottom there. There's your weekly chart. You've had 4 weeks down, 2 weeks up at the moment. And I spoke last week about this little 100% point here. And we ran up, pulled back, stopped just short of 100%, which brings that 150.24 level into play, because that would be the halfway point on the way to 200 there. We did have a strong pullback to open the week. And then by the end of the week, we're sitting bang on that 100% level. Looks like double tops there. Not the strongest of double tops. We'll wait and see what happens. As I said, it wouldn't surprise me if the Aussie and the pound and the euro have a little bit of a pullback to start the week and then turn around and have a strong week there. If that's the case, it wouldn't surprise me to see the US dollar yen just push up a little bit higher as well, and then maybe find its top and turn around and go from there. In terms of the economic calendar, Tuesday night, 10:30 p.m. Sydney time, we've got CPI figures coming out in the US, and then the next day we have the wage price index figures in Australia. So I'd say by then, the 13th or the 14th, we will have this low coming from the 7 May top. And then on Thursday, the 15th of May, you've got some more PPI, which is inflation, producer price index, inflation figures, retail sales, unemployment claims, and then Fed Chair Powell speaking at 10:40 p.m. So Wednesday and Thursday is where most of the economic action is happening. For me, though, I've got my eye really on the following week, where I'll be watching very, very closely around that mid-May time, where I'll be watching very, very closely for a lower top on this market or an extreme top around that 18th of May period. If you're interested in going further down the Gann path and delving into some of Gann's secrets, obviously there are Gann's books and courses where he does give you a lot of really good trading stuff. But for Gann's deeper level stuff, such as his cycles, market forecasts, trading system, etc., you'll find those in Tunnel Through the Air, the novel that he wrote, but it is heavily coded and it will take you many times going through there. Don't expect to find it overnight. That's a many-year journey. It's definitely not for everybody, but for those who undertake that journey, I commend you and I wish you well. And here's to many more exciting discoveries as you work your way through that book. If it helps, I have recorded it as an audiobook. You can find that in a playlist on the channel, and you can work your way through those one at a time, one chapter at a time, and try to pick up as much as you can from there. And if you look within the New Here, Watch These Videos playlist, you'll find right near the top a video called Recommended Reading for Gann Researchers. So if you do want to pull apart some of Gann's work, there's some books in here that will really, really help you. There's about 20, just under 20 in there. I'm not going to tell you which ones. They are all important, but depending on which ones you start, and it's been interesting to hear from some of you that you have gone down that path and you've started reading books, and some of you have just hit the nail right on the head, and the first book you've chosen happens to be a cracker. I haven't told you who you are, which of you have done that, but there's some crackers in there that will really get you some really good steps forward on this journey. So anyway, they're all important. It's a big thing. It's not going to happen overnight. But again, if you're on that journey, well done. And I commend you for that. And I wish you all the best. That's all for this video. If you haven't already done so, you can click on the subscribe button to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. And if you did find some value in the video, I'd love it if you just click on the like button and also just drop me a comment to say hi. We had about 150 views of last week's video, only about 14 comments. So again, if you wouldn't mind taking 10 seconds to leave a comment, I'd really appreciate it. That's all for this week. The Forex Form Guide goes out at 7 p.m. every Sunday. I do have a little baby boy due next month, so there may be some slight interruption there, but as we get a little bit closer, I will record something that goes up as a placeholder. So you can expect something from me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Sydney time. That's all. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Good luck in life and in your trading and on your Gann journey. All the best, and bye for now.